Hi, welcome to the Beanbird 2 channel. My name is David, and I'm here to share my testimony today. I'm sharing my testimony for Ken, who's out there and has requested it, but also my wife has insisted that I do so as well. I know that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by our testimony, so I'm being obedient and doing this today, even though I'm just not feeling it. But anyway, just to kind of get from the beginning, so I was raised in a middle class family in Metro Detroit, and probably nothing, out of the ordinary in terms of my childhood. So probably many of you, you know, uh, just had difficulties in the family. Kind of come from a broken home. My father was an alcoholic and abandoned when I was really young. So my mother tried to raise me the best she could, and she didn't always do it right, but she did the best that she could with what she knew. And one of the things that she thought to do was to take me to the local Methodist church as I was growing up. I think it served a couple of purposes for her. One is it kind of got me off of her hands, but I think it would also, in her mind, at least instill some sort of like moral compass, and I wouldn't turn out like my father. So she frequently dropped me off on Sundays or, at VBS, things like that, at the local Methodist church again. And I learned all about God, from a Methodist Judeo Christian standpoint, much like, probably the most of America as well. So I had, a working understanding, a Sunday school understanding, knew that the answer to almost every question was Jesus, and I could say that. And I knew the songs, I could clap my hands, and, all those sort of things that kids do. So I grew up thinking I was a Christian and I was good. So I went off to college and kind of got myself into a little bit of trouble partying and womanizing and things like that. I mean, nothing extraordinary, but certainly not good living. Um, and along the way, after I had graduated, I met my wife, and we were dating. And she says, "Well, I can only marry a Christian. So are you a Christian?" And of course, the answer to that is, "Well, yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Jew. I must be a Christian. Sure, I'm a Christian." And so then that was satisfactory to her, and so she married me. She said, "You check the boxes. You're a Christian. You have a pulse. You're kind of cute." So she went with it. So we were married for a couple of years and attending a Methodist church. And one of my friends at the Methodist church would not give up on me. So he kept inviting me to Bible Study Fellowship, BSF. For those of you that aren't familiar, BSF is a interdenominational Bible study. And we studied the Bible and we sang like really campy sounding hymns and things like that, but I loved it. I went every week to BSF with a bunch of guys. We drove, I don't know, probably about a half an hour away just to go to this BSF. And I learned the Bible like for the first time. And it was beyond my Sunday school understanding. So I learned a lot about how God works and the scriptures and things like that. And in interacting with a lot of the men at the BSF, I figured out that the Methodist Church wasn't faithful in following the scriptures. Now, just something within me is that I can't really stand hypocrites. So I had a lot of dissonance with the Methodist Church, and I knew I needed to get out of there. I asked one of my friends at the BSF, like, "Hey, I need to find a new church. Like, how do I find one?" And he says, "Well, where do you live?" I told him where I lived, and he said, "Well, there's this Baptist church right around the corner. So why don't you come join me at the Baptist church?" And I did. Well, that was certainly an upgrade, and I got to, interact with more serious Christians, ones that knew the scriptures. I was learning more. The sermons were better, and everything like that. So as I got deeper and deeper in my walk, just by association with the Baptist church, I got invited to a men's retreat, and at that men's retreat, my life changed. So I went on this men's retreat, and one of the activities that they had asked us to do is to find a quiet corner of this hotel conference area and to just focus in on God, just meditate on who He is. And so I did the classic thing. You know, God tells us if that we will seek His face, that He'll come near to us. And so I thought, okay, I'll do that. So I found a quiet place under a stairwell, and I was focusing in on what God's face would look like. So I sat there quietly. I think I dozed off a couple of times, honestly. But as I was focusing in on God, I came to the point where I was like, you know, God, if you're real, I want to experience you. So just, I don't know what that is. Just, you know, let's experience each other here. And He came to me. So God came to me in the moment under the stairwell in Jackson, Michigan, as a flood of warmth and light. And I knew He was real. And from then on, I couldn't go back because he was very real. It was no longer just some Sunday school songs and some cute little Sunday school answers. It was a real thing that I knew I needed to live my life different. So after returning back to the church, I had been sprinkled in a child baptism in the Methodist Church because that's what they do, and in obedience, I decided that I needed to get baptized because the word baptized really means submerged. So in order to be faithful in this walk, in this change, I knew that I needed to be baptized. And so I was baptized in that Baptist church many years ago. Less gray hair then, and certainly not even a beard or anything like that. But that's, my walk in obedience towards knowing Christ. I would say to anybody that's listening, if you're not a believer, that you should ask God to be real to you. He is faithful. He will reach out to you. He's very real. He wants to know you, and you should know Him. Well, with much love, I wish you all the best, brothers and sisters in Christ, and have a wonderful day.